Well, it's Thursday, and I'm not in my studio. Maeve, what happened?
No,
Why am
you're
I not in my
not. Oh no,
studio?
am I here?
No, you're here. You're
Okay,
you're
good.
in your studio. I'm not in
Yes,
my
I'm in my
studio. I'm
studio.
yeah, I'm in an office at the church that I work at. I had to close the
Yeah.
door, and the air conditioning's not on in here. And I just realized
Oh
that
no.
I've been in here 6 minutes. I'm already starting to sweat. So
The
thanks, Florida.
illusion is shattered.
I'm breaking the fourth wall. Everybody knows now that that it's going to be hot and nasty. Hey, welcome to the Altar Live show, where we're going to get started in a couple of short minutes. But we're coming up on Easter here pretty quickly, and Easter in the life of a church is tough and difficult and all those other things. And so we've got a special gift for all of you leaders. Um, Before we get there, however, I need to pass it off to Maeve, who typically during this part of the show, we talk about, we're gonna give you a TV show or a snack recommendation. But what we've decided, I think, is that this is now going to be the segment where we give a media recommendation. So that could be music, that could be TV, that could be podcasts, that could be movies, that could be sidewalk art. I don't know what else, sculptures, like whatever. A sort of media recommendation. Maeve, what is your media recommendation for this week?
So this is the first thing that popped into my head, so I'm just gonna share it.
All right.
Have you ever seen the movie Hot Fuzz?
I have seen the movie Hot Fuzz.
Okay, that's my recommendation.
That is a brilliant movie.
That is my recommendation. And there's an interesting, I mean, there's not too interesting of a story behind it, but when I was younger, my dad and I liked the same movies. We liked the same TV shows, but then as I got older and my sisters got older, our interests started to veer in different directions.
Yeah.
And so he always wants to watch like sci-fi and cowboys and all this stuff. And I really try. I really try to be into it. And so for the longest time, he said we have to watch Hot Fuzz, and I'm like, why would I was like, from the cover alone, I was like, why would I watch this movie? Why would I watch this movie? And then one time, I think it was just like dad and the girls home alone, mom was doing something, and he was like, okay, we have to watch it. And the reason why I decided to watch it is because Olivia Colman is in it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
And so I watched it, and I was just blown away, because I'm not going to give too much. I don't want to give too much of the plot because the story is amazing. But all you have to know, it's just like a funny cop movie. But if you know kind of Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, that cinematic universe, something always goes awry and something is a little unexpected, and it's a really fun time. I don't know if it's appropriate for, I can't remember at all.
No,
It's not appropriate.
it is definitely not. It's like Shaun of the Dead. Definitely not appropriate for children.
No.
This would not be something that I would watch with, say, my 12-year-old. It might be
Yeah,
something I
no.
watch with maybe my 17-year-old, maybe, although I kind of feel awkward whenever I watch stuff
It's
like
not
that.
an Alter Live movie night.
No, this is not something we'll be showing on the platform in a church setting. Let's put it that way.
Too bad this is the thing that popped into my head first, but what can
No,
you do?
it's good, Maeve. Your mind's in the gutter. It's fine. The the uh, the idea behind Hot Fuzz, is it the same characters as Shaun of the Dead?
It's like, I don't think it's the characters, but I think it's the same actors.
It's the same
Definitely the
actors,
same actors. Yeah.
but like, is it adjacent to each other? Like, or are they just kind of the same? Simon Pegg just does his thing with Nick Frost.
I mean, who knows? I feel like it's probably different characters. I don't remember their names.
Yeah, that's okay.
But,
Have you
yeah.
seen The End of the World?
Oh yeah, At World's End. That's
Or
a good
at
one.
World's End? Yeah. Sorry.
We did like, once we watched Hot Fuzz, we were like, okay, well now we have to watch every every movie of theirs.
Yep.
And there was like another off. It wasn't that like group, but it was like another British time space dimension one. I forget what it's called. It was like really nerdy. It wasn't as good, but it was still fun. It had that guy, the Irish guy, Chris O'Dowd, if you're
Oh yeah,
familiar
I
with
like
him.
him.
Yeah. I like him too. He's cute.
you, you broke me, babe. I don't know where to go from there. This is the Ultra Live show, where we're gonna play Hot or Not here pretty soon, and
I
see
said he's cute. Oh my gosh. You're making me blush.
oh, that's fine. Okay, let's move right along. Let's talk about Easter. How about
Yes.
that? So, like I was saying in the preamble before we got to Chris O'Dowd and how hot he was, that Easter is a very, very busy time for churches. Obviously, it should be. It is the basis of our faith. It's the basis of. Without Easter, we would have no Christmas. Without Easter, we would have no cross things. Without Easter, we would have nothing. Because we know that Easter signifies resurrection. Easter signifies new hope found in Jesus. Amen and amen. Let's continue to live in love and be good disciples and all that. But unfortunately, what happens is a lot of church leaders and a lot of families, Easter kind of sneaks up on them, and then they're crazy busy for a couple of weeks right before. That's why I'm not in my studio right now, and that's why we're kind of pre-recording this. Spoiler, we're not live right now. But that's why we kind of have to do all that, because I am going to be doing things all day on Thursday when we actually record this, and because Easter's coming and we need to shoot a bunch of video for Easter, and so that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's why I'm stuck in an office right now, is because I'm going to leave here in a little bit and I'm going to go shoot more video, because that's what we have to do. And so if I'm that busy, I can only imagine what everyone else out there, and Maeve could only imagine what everyone else out there is doing right now. And so, just like we kind of did around Christmas, and I'm going to let Maeve explain the germination of all this, but just like
Yes.
we did around Christmas, do you like that word?
It's good.
We wanted to bring you a special gift that would hopefully help you engaging your congregations. Maeve, where did the whole Easter guide thing that we're talking about, kind of dancing around, where'd that all come from?
Well, I think it actually came from that conversation we had when I was actually trying to come up with ideas for marketing purposes, and I think our Christmas guide was so much fun to write, and I was like, "Well, we should make a Easter version of this." And it was a
Totally.
conversation I had with you, Andy, what you mentioned, and I said, "Is it just me, or does Easter always just sneak up on us?" And I was like, "Is this just a me thing?" But I always feel like I'm like, "Oh my gosh, it's March," or "Oh my gosh, it's April, Easter is here, and I can't even believe it." And you were like, "No, no, that's true. That's a thing people feel." And I was like, "Okay, first of all, phew." Because it is. It's the most important holiday in the church calendar, and yet we're always like, "Oh my gosh, it's Easter." Like we gotta scramble and do something to celebrate. And so I thought, okay, I kind of came to that realization where it was like the Christmas guide worked really well. Let's make an Easter version. Easter on Ultra Live is possible and it can be really awesome. And so let's get into it.
Totally. So, Maeve did a great job with this. She
Thank
is a
you.
creative driving force here at Ultra Live, and she put together a gigantic list. Now, before we get to the list, I'm going to keep teasing this out. Where can everybody get a hold of this if they want to use some of these ideas?
So right now, as of Tuesday when we're filming this, it is a blog. There's a blog version posted on our website. You could just go to our
Okay.
website. If you scroll to the bottom, you'll be able to see, like the very bottom of the page, you'll be able to see just like blogs, what's new, all that stuff. Click on the blog, it'll go to the blog page. Hopefully, when this airs, we'll have a downloadable version. If we don't have it by Thursday, we'll have it very, very soon. But you can get all of the ideas and tips and tricks right now on our website. It just might not be downloadable yet, but it's coming soon. Don't worry.
Awesome. I'm not worried. I've seen it, and we're going to reveal it to you right now. There it is, right there. Okay, it took my
Woo!
computer
There
a second
it
to
is.
catch up. Now, obviously, it's a Google Doc. You're not going to be getting a Google Doc. You're going to be getting a prettified version of all of
Yes.
this, because we like to bring quality. But we, like the rest of the world, work from Google Docs, and so this has kind of been our working plan, really. Maeve, where do you want to start here? Do you want to start with kind of stuff in the auditorium, or you want to go? Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do
we
that.
can go in order.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
do that.
Yeah, so the way I broke it up, if you guys remember from the Christmas guide, I broke it up by space. And the
Hmm.
thing is, you can really do whatever you want. Obviously, for, the event space and auditorium, there are things that will work better there than in rooms and tables, but you can do a lot of mixing and matching, swapping, whatever works for you. But I just broke it up in what makes most sense to me and me thinking about the platform space by space. So if we start with the event space, specifically with rows and being able to watch stuff on the screen, this brings us to kind of the beginning of Holy Week with Palm Sunday. Now, I feel like I haven't seen this tradition in a while. Maybe it's still happening, but when I was younger, at the church I went to on Palm Sunday, you would get the palm fronds
Yep.
and you would kind of wave them and shake them as they were reading that passage in Matthew, and that was just always like a highlight of the week for me because it was the beginning of Holy Week. It was a fun, interactive thing to do as a kid, or even as I grew older. It was still just a really nice thing to be a part of the service, and you can still do that online. And especially with rows and tables, with rows in the event space, you have that community within your row as a watch party, and so you can do this by, if you have the funds, you could send palm fronds to your community, or you could you yourself could just get some um,
I live in
cheaply
Florida.
online.
They're right out
Oh
there.
yeah,
I
go
don't.
outside if you're in Florida. Just pick one
Yeah.
off a tree.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
don't know. Me in Pennsylvania, I don't know exactly where you would find that, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
The wonders of the internet, the
Sure.
wonders of the internet
Joanne's,
or the garden.
Michael's. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hobby Lobby.
Michael's garden store. Yeah. It's just a fun interactive thing to keep that tradition alive, and you could even make some out of paper, like the
Hmm.
wonders you can do with a craft. And so that's really fun for a Palm Sunday, and then throughout Holy Week, Easter is a time of joy, but it's also a time of conviction, and there's high emotions because you're just leading up. There's a lot of anticipation leading up to Good Friday, and it's a part where we're all convicted and thinking about this weekend and Good Friday. And so it's good to have space, to open space for people to pray and to contemplate. So you could have worship services or services of prayer. I know there's a church, Brooklyn Tabernacle has
Hmm.
every Tuesday they have a worship service and they have a prayer service that my family always likes to listen to. So, you don't have to do this just on Holy Week. You could do it all year round, like the Brooklyn Tabernacle and other churches, but that's always an option. And especially during Holy Week, that's definitely something to think about. Then we have Maundy Thursday, which that would, there's a lot of room for that one. I'm not going to tell you how to run your church service, but these are just suggestions of having a space in the rows and event space just to pray, to be with people in your rows, to move back and forth in rows, praying with people, reading the Last Supper passage, holding communion, just
Hmm.
kind of preparing for the weekend to come, because there's a lot of joy, but there's a lot of sorrow too. And then moving on to Good Friday, Andy actually came up with this one. I was very thankful for his contribution for this because I was racking my brain trying to think, how can we make Good Friday special, because it can be such a hard, beautiful, all of the above day, and your churches have their own schedule, but how can we altar liveify it? How can we make it special for those who are tuning in on altar live? Do you like that word? I think we should add that to our
I'm
vocab.
good with that. Yeah, I'm good if we put that in Slack and just say, hey, this is how we're going to denote everything that happens now.
So we came up with the Good Friday Tenebrae service. That's the service. Andy, jump in if you want to explain this better. But as the sermon or service goes along, and you read certain passages in the Easter story, you slowly and surely blow out candles. Or you have
Yeah.
candles lit, and that
Yeah.
could work in rows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the best way, as I was talking about it, I was envisioning the idea of the Tenebrae service is that you start with 12 candles lit, and then there's 12 different there's 12 different progressions that you go through. There's 12 different readings. There's 12, it's almost like the Stations of the Cross thing, if you're familiar with
Mhm.
that, where you start with 12 candles lit, and then there's moments of worship and moments of music and moments of reflection built in. And honestly, there's programs online. On my church, we're a Methodist church, kind of under the surface, but we're a Methodist church. The Methodist church really literally provides the entire script, the entire program. And you as a church leader can program it just like that. You need 12 candles and a camera. And then in your rows, you have sort of the response things that are happening. And so all you got to do is have a leader in your rows and or have a host or somebody that makes up one of the chairs or pops in even if the row is full and can lead the call and response times or can lead the prayer times or can pray with those
Mhm.
in the row or can ask questions and ask about convictions and ask about the things that are happening during this, because as you progress through your 12 candles, you'll do one section of the program and then you'll extinguish a candle. And then you'll do another section of the program and you'll extinguish a candle. And you continue going through that until you have one candle left. And then the Good Friday service is meant to cause discomfort. So the
Mm.
very last little moment is Jesus getting buried and the stone rolls over the tomb and you extinguish the, I'm getting chills thinking about it because it's amazing. Every time I talk about this I get chills because you extinguish that last candle to signify the darkness that came over the land. When that stone was rolled into the center of that tomb opening and was sealed, and Roman soldiers were put on guard, and everybody, the enemy thought he won, and the rest of the world thought that Jesus was dead forever. And so that candle is extinguished, and then you leave your service in silence. There is no music. A lot of times you end a church service or an event or something, and it's bumping. You got lights and cameras and everything happening. But this is intentionally meant to be silent and still. And the way you can do that is pop everybody off to the lobby immediately. Get done
Mm.
with everything that you're doing, pop everyone off to the lobby, and then in the lobby, you can then open up times for response, for prayer, for even just fellowship and hanging out. But the idea being you as the leader up front need to tell everybody, hey, this is going to be a little different, and then explain why it's different.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for
Mm-hmm.
jumping in there. That was a
Mm-hmm.
good that was and like we said before, there's so much space to try so many different things. So if you're like, this isn't gonna work for, my crowd," don't do it. Do
Yep.
do what is good for your church community. These are just suggestions. These are what we think would be really, good and fun and interactive and moving on our platform. I don't wanna spend too much more time on the event space. We have a few more things. You could always have Easter hymn sing worship service. Just, make sure you're keeping your cameras on and your microphones on so you can sing together in your rows. Might be a little awkward, but that's good.
Yeah,
It's
that's
good to
part of it.
hear each other sing. It's good to hear each other worship together. Then you could also have an Easter movie night. I
Mm.
wanted to mention which, movies because it is you can't really think, like, what's a good Easter movie? They are out there. And, while The Passion of the Christ might not work for, young families, it's an option. But there's also there is also this movie Risen, which I
Mm.
saw once before. It's pretty good. I think it's the point of view of a Roman soldier who witnesses the resurrection. The Chosen series, always classic. Pick and choose different episodes, just like a great, great representation of Jesus' ministry. Makes it just so personal and
Mm.
universal. Love it. Sight and Sound's Jesus, Sight and Sound Theater, which is in Lancaster near me, but then there's also one in Missouri, I think. They have a fantastic musical show recording of Jesus's ministry, which is, fun for the whole family. And if you can get a recording of it, which I think they have around this time, it's amazing. It's
Mm.
spectacular. For young kids, Veggie Tales and Easter Carol,
Let's
classic.
go. Let's go.
Yeah, VeggieTales, love VeggieTales. So those are definitely the more spiritual ones, but,
Mm.
you always have Peter Rabbit because rabbits, Easter,
Bunnies.
that connection, exactly. A classic Easter Beagle, Charlie Brown,
Mm.
love, love, love. And maybe that one has a little spirituality in it. I don't remember, probably
A little
not,
bit.
but,
Yeah, there's a
you know,
little Jesus in there.
Charles Schulz, he's Christian.
Yeah.
And then Wallace and Gromit, which is
Mm,
just a fun time. Curse the Were Rabbit. So those are just some suggestions because it is hard to figure out. Okay, what is specifically Easter? So we did
yeah.
some digging for you. Okay, now we're moving on to tables. Yes, tables. Yes.
I'm scrolling. There we are.
Okay,
And real
perfect.
quick, don't I don't want to gloss over this either. I think this is appropriate and this is
Mhm.
helpful. Templates for Easter. A lot
Oh
of times
yes.
you're going to find your digital area, this is going to be a huge time for visitors, just like a regular area. So you don't need to
Mhm.
obviously copy all these and you make them your own words and you make them your own scriptures and all that. But it may help to get some things off the ground by popping in there. Happy Sunday, everyone, Holy Week, and yada, yada, yada. So that would be for this Sunday. Feel free to take a seat, grab your cup of coffee if you're new, have any questions, or send us a comment in the chat or in the greeters, and they'll assist. Stuff that might help you get off the ground just a little bit, along with announcements, along with polls, and along with poll ideas that will, I mean, my favorite one is, do you even like peeps? Like that's a very divisive issue. And I think that would be one that if you really want to start some conversation, ask them that.
Yes. It
So
it
there we
I
go.
have to say, it is hard to come up with like, I think because, like we said before, Easter always sneaks up on us, and it's not like there's not too much commercialization
Mm.
of the Easter season. It is hard to come up with those poll ideas, so really had to use my thinking cap for for
Put
these.
your
So
put your
I
Easter
always
noggin on.
encourage
Yeah, I like it.
exactly, exactly. I always encourage you to come up with things yourself and to find out, what topics and conversation starters are good for your community. Maybe, if you're in a place, maybe if you're in DC, you could talk about the Easter egg roll they have on the White House or something.
Mm,
I don't know. I don't know if that's a
mm.
thing people do anymore.
Yeah, it is.
But okay, cool. Okay, so for tables. So if you're gonna use polls, definitely check out these polls ideas. They're definitely great for conversation starters, especially if you're in the lobby and you're wanting to get people to connect. Shoot a poll out there and tell people to answer it and sit at the table with their corresponding answer. So
Mm.
if you did the peeps questions, you'd have a yes table and a no table.
And that
Maybe it would work.
yes table would fill up, right? Was that the question? Oh no, the no tables would fill up. You need to add more no tables than yes tables because peeps are
Exactly.
gross.
Yes, I agree, I
Hot take.
agree. No, I don't think it's a very hot take. I think it's common sense take, but maybe
Amen.
that's a hot take that I think it's common sense. Okay,
No, no,
anyway.
I don't know how the peep industry is surviving. I think it's out of just humor. I think it's out of
Yeah.
sarcasm that it still exists.
It's just like, "Alright, well, we don't have anything else." I mean, you have
They
the
they have
Cadbury mini eggs.
okay,
Those are good.
Cadbury mini eggs are delicious, but they have flaming hot peeps. Like they have,
Ugh,
yeah, spicy
that
peeps.
that's
What are we
that's
doing?
that is foul.
No, it's a bunny. It's not foul. Huh.
Oh, that was good. That's good. That was a
Okay.
dad joke for you right
I
there.
know. I'm sorry. I'm tired. All right, let's keep going. Sorry about that.
Okay, continuing with egg decorating. So, and you can honestly do any craft. I just chose egg decorating because that's a classic. I love egg decorating to this day. Still haven't done it yet. Hope to do it soon. So it's kind of like bring your own egg or bring your own decor. BYOE or BYOD. Bring your own egg or bring your own decor.
That's so clever.
So yeah. So you could just gather at the different tables and bring your stuff with you and just kind of take that time to connect. Obviously you can't kind of egg decorate together in person, but you can egg decorate together online
It's
at the
true.
different tables. It's perfect. It's perfect. It's your watch party. It's in the lobby. It's an experience. It's a day. Encourage people of all ages to do it. It's a great way to connect with your church community. I think, especially nowadays, we need that community more than ever. So whenever you're coming up with creative ways to get together, you know, do it. I think it makes more impact than you realize.
Absolutely.
Um, and then next is Easter egg hunt. I'm just skipping around here.
Yep.
Because you can have Holy Week prayer and contemplation at the tables too, as well as in the rows. You can really do that in any place, but I always like to add it because it's always a good reminder that you always need space for that, no matter the time of year, but especially during Holy Week and the holidays. Definitely, there's a need for that. But the Easter egg hunt, because that's also a classic. I'm a little too old for that, unfortunately. But well, actually, you know what?
Never,
Actually,
never
I'm
too
never too
old.
old. I just haven't done it in a while. I'm out of practice. Maybe this year is different. Um, you can take this classic online, ladies and gents. Um, the way you do it, you have to get a little creative though, but I think it's really fun that we have tables, so you can make as many tables as you want. Designate people to sit at these tables. So kids won't be able to tell which table is, because if you just have one person at each table, you'll be like, oh, obviously it's,
Yep.
this table. So I think you should fill up the tables, have as many tables as you can, and have certain adults maybe have like a paper Easter egg, or you could even get the plastic ones and just kind of hold it in front of your screen if you want to, and then have let the kids run wild and go from table to table collecting the eggs. And I think it would be really fun if to make it a little trickier, there's not since it's online. I think you could have like a trivia question, or
Hmm.
like a memory verse, if your Sunday school encourages kids to memorize verses, can you recite this verse, or can you answer this biblical trivia question, or can you answer this Easter trivia question? I think that would be really fun, especially for the older kids. If it's little kids, just give them the egg.
That's a great idea.
But yeah, but throughout the tables, I think it would be really fun watching people jump from table to table, and then having adults, hospitality team members, or parents sit at tables. And it gives the parents and the people time to chill and to talk and catch up. And the kids, they're in a safe spot going jumping from table to table. So
Hmm.
it's a really a win-win. And then if you want to make it a contest, whichever kid finds the most eggs, you could send them a small Easter basket. But really, there's so much to do within the tables. We were talking with Marley, who's another person on our marketing team. She's awesome. She had the idea of getting together at tables and packing up Easter baskets, especially for the parents, if they are doing that for their kids. Just a chance for them to get together with their friends at tables and pack Easter baskets together, catch up on the day, pray with each other during Holy Week. The possibilities are endless.
Endless.
Um, and so now we are moving on to rooms and meetings. And so
And
there are
this,
only
but hold on, but before
yes.
you go forward, I have to
Oh
say
yes.
this, the Stations of the Cross thing that you're going to talk about or that you brought up is probably the best use of rooms that you've ever really thought of. I mean, you've done a lot of this. Like it's a brilliant way to do it, but also I think it's the one going to be one of the most impactful way to use rooms. And so with that
Thank
preamble,
you.
go forward.
Yes, thank you. I was very excited about this idea because I think Stations of the Cross is such a powerful experience, and it's such it being so interactive is so important. And so I really wanted to bring that to Altar Live, and it really does work with rooms and meetings because you can make as many rooms as you want, and you can have different shifts, like time shifts for people to go through, and
Hmm.
it really really brings this experience to life. So you could create 14 to 16 rooms because you want to leave a few rooms for kind of the overflow or people waiting, or a fellowship space, and then designate each room to a station, and have your church community go through these rooms and have someone in each station read through the passage, but hopefully they would go that extra step to set the scene around them. Because I wait for our Ultra Live show. I have to set the scene. So like with this background, they could do something like that, even, or just make it, because even I think if you're kind of in like a brightly lit room, it takes the experience away. So
Hmm.
if you are a person in charge of the room, you can really transform the space behind you, and I urge you to do that because it's such a powerful such a powerful tradition and a powerful experience, and being able to take it online is really special, and it can impact a lot of people. Anything else you want to add about that?
No, it's brilliant. I mean, I love the idea of allowing space for personal times of reflection, just
Mm,
like in a normal space. The reason I thought it was so brilliant was because it had never occurred to me to just open up a room and give people space to just pop in to a virtual room. It's like a
mm,
novel concept that you see happen all the time in Stations of the Cross services on in person. You know, somebody's at the prayer central room, and then somebody's in the cafe, and somebody's in this part of the sanctuary, and all of that's great. But doing that online is such a novel concept because 9 times out of 10, when you're online, you have a host or you have somebody that's guiding you or asking you
right,
questions or saying hello. And in this case, nothing. Like, let's just be silent,
right.
pop in there, turn your camera on if you want to. Don't read the scripture, read the passage, read whatever's going on, and then pop out of there. I love it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, and I think you can really slow down with this activity or with this event as well, because it doesn't have to be this quick thing that you do. You can allow people to stay in the room as long as they want. And I mean, you can definitely do it in shifts and be like, okay, we're going to have it from this time to this time, and then the next kind of set it up as services. But you can
Hmm.
really take your time with it and let people sit with it. And having a designated person for each room will really help with that experience, because they
Yep.
can set the tone, set the scene with their background, and so it can be a really good immersive and important experience.
Amen.
Um, so I think I'll close with the Easter Story Hour, because the Easter brunch, I think, is just allowing allowing people to do what they want with their team. This doesn't have to be a brunch. I always think eating together is a really good community building experience. And I know it can be hard online, but it is possible. But you could treat it as really anything you want, as something with your team and friends and family. It's just gathering together. Um, and with our video and audio share features, you can really do anything and turn it into a nice gathering with putting on background music, or if you wanted to show a video, you can do that. So there's a
Hmm.
lot of space for that, but I called it Easter brunch because that's something that could be a really nice. It's a good. It will attract people to come.
It's true. No, it's 100%
Yeah.
true.
Um,
Cool.
so we also did one a Christmas story hour for our Christmas guide, and so Easter story hour. I think there's so much material for that as well, and I think, and it was interesting. I was trying to think, like when I was younger, how my family taught me about um, Easter story and stuff, and I think it was like a board book, and so
Hmm.
like a one of those classic little kids Bible books, but I couldn't remember which one, so did some digging to find which ones that I was familiar with, or what um, looked good like now. What and so this could be really in any space. You could have like make it a big event and have like a pre-recorded version and have it in the auditorium space, or you could kind of go into a room or a meeting and have it be a little bit more intimate and a little bit more rustic, I like to call it, because it's a
Hmm.
little scrappier. um, but it's just like it's perfect for families and for kids, and you could have like a talk back and discussion questions that you put in the chat, or since if you're in a room, if you decide to do it in a room, you could just have people, talk out loud and have that discussion. And I think it's really great for kids to know that they can participate in like church events like that. And so the obvious passage in the Bible, you could do Matthew 28, Mark 16, Luke 24, John 20. I saw really good reviews for this book called The Garden, the Curtain, and the Cross by
Hmm.
Carl Lafferton.
Yep.
There was a The Tale of Three Trees is something I grew up with, which I thought was a
Yes.
great book because it talks about three trees, and each tree gets turned into something Jesus uses. I think one is the manger, one is the boat that he calms the storm
Hmm.
in, and
Hmm.
then the third is the cross. So
The cross. Yep.
it's a really nice story that kind of weaves the meaning of these three trees.
I'd
And
like to
then,
add. I'd like to add the
mhm.
Giving Tree to that as well by Shel Silverstein.
Oh, that is a
Uh,
good one. I didn't think of
it's
that.
not. It's not technically Easter, but it is.
Mhm.
It's the same genre as the Tale of Three Trees. Has that same sort of feeling to it.
Yes, and then that's a great idea. And then so there's a book called The Jesus Storybook Bible by Sally Lloyd Jones, which is just fantastic.
It
And
is.
so
It's awesome.
that's like a it kind of goes through the entire Bible. So you could go in the chapter God's Wonderful Surprise, and that talks about the resurrection. I
Hmm.
highly recommend the Jesus Storybook Bible. It is beautifully written. But yeah, I think these are some starter ideas for events you could have because I know Easter planning can be stressful and it sneaks up on us, and we want to have a meaningful time and a time of contemplation and prayer. So these are just some ideas to get you excited for this season.
So one other thing to get you excited, Maeve. First off, good job on that. That's fantastic. Not good job, great job. Like that guide is awesome.
Thank
There's a real
you.
flow to it. There's a real purpose to it. The other thing to get involved is the question, and I am going to ask you about Easter, and I want you to think long and hard about it. But
Okay.
uh, what are your favorite Easter traditions? And
Okay.
then the second question is Easter Bunny, yay or nay?
Okay. Um,
This is big.
the
This is
Easter
big stuff here.
Yes. I have to say, I don't think for a long time, a lot of the Easter traditions, we haven't had any like traditions. We just kind of mix it up each year. I think the classics when I was really little, I really loved the Easter egg hunt.
Hmm.
But in as I've gotten older, actually one of my favorite traditions, which we actually start at Christmas, when we take down our Christmas tree, we'll cut the bough of the Christmas tree and turn it, or like the not the bough, the trunk,
Sure.
and cut it into a cross. And then we'll put the cross in our Christmas tree holder and put it out on our deck or outside area. And that will stay up until Easter. And I just think that's a really lovely
Maeve, that is a
tradition.
freaking awesome idea. Holy crap.
I don't know where we heard of it. I think some of our family did it first and then we adopted it, but I don't know where they heard it from. But I love it because it's all year round.
I'm gonna start crying. Like my eyes are filling up with tears right now. Like that is an awesome that's a great idea. Holy crap.
I love it. I really do. And it's a nice way because it's always hard when Christmas is over. The winter blues are a real
Yeah.
thing. And so to turn the Christmas tree into a cross is it's a really good one.
Dang, dude.
Yeah.
That you just trumped everything there.
I know. Well, that's my favorite, but I can't think of like any other things we do. I think it depends each year. So that's like the solid one that we do
What
every
about
year.
Easter Bunny?
As
Yay
for
or nay?
yeah, the Easter bunny. I did believe in the Easter bunny when I was younger. I and when I found out it wasn't real, spoiler alert, it's not real.
What?
I was fine with it. And I was trying to think, I was like, would I do it with my future children? I don't know. I kind of feel like I won't do it. I'll just be like, you'll still get an Easter basket, but it's from me and it's in celebration of Jesus' resurrection.
Yeah,
I
we do.
honestly don't know.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I honestly don't know why my parents did it. I think they were just like, yeah, it's a tradition, American tradition. We'll just do it. But yeah, I never really wasn't. It wasn't a devastating loss when I found out it was not real.
It wasn't
I
like
was
losing
like,
a pet, an actual bunny.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And honestly, I was kind of like scared. The idea that like a giant rabbit was gonna come into my house
Yep.
with their beady eyes, I was like not into it.
Yeah, my parents and I, we did or not I, we were raised on the Easter Bunny until we found out that he wasn't real. And then they actually went so far as one year to do the um, baby powder footprints of the bunny all
Oh,
over the house.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. That
yeah,
is
it was.
commitment.
It was, oh yeah, it was dope. But then we'd do the Easter egg, we'd dye the eggs, and then
Mhm.
we'd hide
Love
them,
the
or
diamond thing.
they'd hide them all through the house, and then we'd go and find them the next morning, and then we'd get candy, and we'd have to go find our Easter basket, and then we'd always get some sort of present, and then we'd go to church, and it was like this thing. We don't do that with
Yeah.
my kids. I'm a pastor, and Sunday mornings I'm out the door. We don't have time for Easter egg
Right.
hunts, and so we always just gather with my whole family for like a picnic in the afternoon, which is pretty fun. We go to a park, and then all of my family, there's like 15 or 20 of us there. We run around and kick soccer balls and eat
That's
barbecue,
fun.
and oh, it's dope. It's a ton of
Yeah.
fun, and we love doing that. But we still don't do the Easter egg with our kids. We never have. My wife
Oh,
didn't before
interesting.
me. Yeah, so this,
When you
I don't
said
think.
that you searched for the Easter eggs, did you search for like the plastic ones or did you
Nope.
search for like, oh my gosh, okay, I never did that. That would make
Yeah.
me nervous to have like
Well,
cooked
Dad,
eggs.
I remember as I got older, I can routinely remember my mom and dad counting the number of eggs just to make sure, and then occasionally they'd be like, "Guys, I think the Easter Bunny left like 2 others. Maybe you gotta go find them." And it's like, oh, you
That's so
just don't
funny. Were
want
they
rotten eggs
raw
everywhere.
or were they boiled?
No. We would hard boil them and then we would dye
Okay,
them.
good.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because
No.
if it was raw, that would be not good. They're
No, they would
flawed.
have lasted eons if we didn't find them. But still, we always found all of them. And then my mom had a thing for hard boiled eggs. Like she loved them, so it was like her favorite time of year. She just had hard boiled eggs for like 2 weeks afterwards. Amazing for her. Yeah, and they were always like these weird odd colors, and they'd turn gray, and she didn't care. She still ate them.
Yes,
So,
classic.
oh,
Well,
yeah,
you've inspired me. I need to dye some eggs. I love doing that, but
totally.
it's always I forget.
The vinegar smell as you're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good time. I love it. Hey, we're gonna close up shop here. I did want to talk real quick. Maeve and I have a brand new podcast coming out, and we're gonna talk a little bit more about it. But we are diving into topics such as the Easter Bunny, yay or nay, from the vantage point of Christianity, and we're calling it the Unconventional Sunday School. It's ultra live adjacent, but more than that, it is about church life. And May, what have you called it? A handbook to the Christian
it's like
world?
a handbook to the church world. Yes, because there's a lot of cultural Christian lingo type stuff that's always fun to talk about and explore.
Yep. It's going to be great. We've recorded our first episode. It hasn't been released yet. We're going to be recording a couple more episodes. We'll be releasing those in the next couple of weeks. We'll make sure to spam you all with the links since you so get tired of these wonderful faces. But for everybody else that's getting ready for Easter, we're praying for you. Have courage, take heart. The end of the holiday season is literally around the corner, and then you can go on vacation. Trust me, you need vacation. I'm also pointing at the camera and pointing to myself. Andy, you need vacation.
Vacation.
Yeah, thanks. That's my conscience telling me that. But we're gonna exit out of here. Let us know if we can help you at all during this Easter season. And Maeve, thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was fun.
You're so welcome. We love you guys. Thanks so much for being part of the Altar Live family. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.